Hey everyone! Today we're going to talk about something cool and important for programming the Arduino IDE. The Arduino IDE, Integrated Development Environment, is a special program that helps you write code for your Arduino board. It's the tool that you use to create programs that make your Arduino projects work. This program has a few different parts to it. The main part is this code editor, where you write your programs in a language called C++. But don't worry if you don't know C++ yet. The Arduino IDE makes it easy to get started with this language. In the code editor, you can write instructions that tell the Arduino what to do. For example, you might write code that turns on an LED light when you press a button, as shown here. You'll notice that there are two main sections to this code, the setup section and the loop section. Setup is the first function that runs when the Arduino board is powered on or reset. It's used to initialize variables and perform any initial setup that your sketch might require. It runs only once and at the beginning of the program. The loop function is the main function in an Arduino sketch. It runs over and over again until the Arduino board is powered off or reset. It's used to perform the main functionality of your sketch. In this example, we have an Arduino sketch that uses a button to turn on an LED. In the setup section of the code, we initialize the button as input and the LED as output. This tells the Arduino which pins to use for the button and the LED, and sets the direction of data flow for each pin. In the loop function, the Arduino continuously checks the state of the button input, pressed or unpressed, and sends the corresponding value to the LED output, on or off. This creates a simple circuit where pressing the button turns the light on, and releasing the button turns the light off. Once you've written your code, you can upload it to your Arduino board. This is where the other parts of this program come in. There's a toolbar with buttons that let you verify and upload your code. The Verify button checks for any errors in your code, like missing punctuation or undefined variables. If there are any mistakes, you'll be able to see them in the output window at the bottom of the screen. These messages can be really helpful when debugging code and when trying to figure out what's going on in your project. If there are no errors, it will compile your code. This means turning it into a language that the Arduino can understand, kind of like a translator. The Upload button then sends the translated code over to your board where you can see your work in action. You can also tell if your code is being received by the Arduino by checking two lights on the board labeled TX and RX. TX stands for transmission and lights up when the Arduino is sending data. The RX stands for receive and lights up when it receives data. However, it's important to note that the TX and RX lights on the Arduino board only indicate if data is being sent or received through the board, but they don't indicate if the data transfer is successful. So you should always double-check the IDE to make sure everything is working properly. The Arduino IDE can seem a little overwhelming at first, but with practice and some guidance, you'll soon be a pro at using it to create all kinds of cool projects. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with a few tips and tricks for using the Arduino IDE. When you first get started, you might run into some problems, but don't worry, it happens to everyone. First, if your board isn't working right, check your connections and make sure it's plugged in properly to your computer. Sometimes a loose or faulty connection can cause problems. Second, if you're having trouble uploading your program, make sure you've chosen the right board and serial port in the Tools menu of this program, as shown here. Third, if your program isn't doing what you want it to do, take a closer look at your code. Make sure you don't have any mistakes, like spelling errors or missing punctuation. One of the most common mistakes is forgetting a semicolon at the end of a line. Again, you can always look at the output box at the bottom of the screen to help you debug. If none of these tips work and you're still having weird problems, simply try restarting the Arduino IDE. Sometimes just turning it off and on again can really help. And finally, don't be afraid to ask for help. The Arduino community is friendly and helpful. There's even a whole Arduino forum online where you can find answers to a lot of questions and see what other people are doing. They also have help in a bunch of different languages. Remember, troubleshooting is just a part of the learning process. By following these tips, you can solve most problems you might encounter when using the Arduino IDE. Good luck!